So here in this picture it explains solid can convert into liquid form by melting procedure. So when you will give heat, solid can convert into liquid form. In the same way, liquid can be able to convert into gaseous form in the form of vaporization. So still more heat when you will give, temperature when you will give, by that time liquid will be able to convert into gaseous form. So this process can be reversible. So when you apply pressure as well as when the temperature will be decreased, so gaseous particle can convert into liquid form. In the same way, again when the temperature will be decreased and when you will apply the pressure, this liquid will be able to convert into solid form. So here solid to gaseous form will be able to convert in the form of sublimation process. So direct conversion from solid to gaseous particles will be done by sublimation process. Again on applying pressure, the deposition of solid can be done. So here this is also a reversible process. So the next one, we are going to deal with the classification of matter based on its chemical composition or chemical phases. So here we have classified as heterogeneous matter as well as homogeneous matter. So for more information, better we look for this flow chart. Here it explains matter has been divided as heterogeneous matter as well as homogeneous matter. Here as the name indicates, homo in the sense same. So same proportion of components will be there throughout the bulk solution. So if proportion of the components is same, then you are going to consider as homogeneous matter. Hetero in the sense it varies. Okay. So here the proportion of components whatever you will take, so that will varies under here. So again heterogeneous matter has been divided as suspension, colloid as well as hetero mixture. Now based on the size of the particle, so which explains colloids will be having the size between 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer. So suspension will be having the size above 100 nanometer and hetero mixture will be the little bigger in size so that it will be able to separate by any of the physical method. So again homogeneous matter has been divided as homogeneous mixture and pure substance, that is nothing but mixture and pure substance. So now mixture is nothing but two or more components. When it will be mixed, you are going to get a single phase. So that you are going to consider as a mixture. And pure substance is nothing but it is in pure form. When atoms or molecules in combined form, so then you are going to consider as pure substance. Again the pure substance has been divided as element as well as compounds. So this concept you might have learned in your previous classes. So elements are nothing but those are the pure form which you cannot divide it into further substance. So again this element has been divided as metal, non-metal as well as metal. And compounds are nothing but when these elements, when two or more atoms will combine with one another, so that compound formation will take place. So first we will go with heterogeneous matter. So what is meant by heterogeneous matter? As I said, here it will be having different proportion of components throughout the bulk solution. So a substance is heterogeneous if it exhibits different properties at its different position, and different types of heterogeneous are suspension, hetero mixture as well as colloids. Now regarding suspension, what is mean by suspension? Suspension is nothing but separated. Here what will happen when you will go with the solution or the substance, some of the particles will be suspended, some of the particles will be separated from the bulk solution. So those particles we are going to consider as suspension. So it is a heterogeneous matter in which the solute particles do not dissolve but remain suspended throughout the bulk of the medium. Example, dirt particles in water as well as butter in the milk. You will be able to see the particle. Here the size of the particles will come above 100 nanometer. The next one is colloid. So colloids are nothing but it is a mixture of two components where the size will between 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer. So it is a uniform solution. Actually, this colloid, it looks like homogeneous solution. In the sense, it looks like a clear solution, but it is not. It is a heterogeneous solution. This kind of solution, this kind of substance, you will be able to differentiate or separate it out by any of physical method. So most of the time it goes with your centrifugation and all. For example, if you will see the examples like blood, milk, butter, cloud and all. So for example, if I will go with blood, when you see, it looks very clear. Or milk, if you will take, it looks very clear solution. You cannot see the particles. So we can say it is a homogeneous solution, but it is not. So these are colloidal solution where it looks like homogeneous, it looks like clear solution, but it is having the size of the particle lies between 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer. So these kind of substance we are going to call it as colloid. The next one is heteromixture. So heteromixture is obtained by mixing of two or more substances in any ratio. So these are possessing the mixed properties of the combined substance, and this can be separated by physical method. So example we have given as mixture of sand as well as common salt. So with any amount of ratio you will be able to mix it, but it shows the properties in mixed form. It will be able to show the properties of sand as well as it will be able to show the properties of salt. So these kind of substance we are going to call it as heteromixture. The next one, another type of matter, that is nothing but homogeneous matter. As I said, here the particles will be having same proportion of components will be there throughout the bulk solution. So then you are going to consider as homogeneous matter. So a substance is homogeneous matter if the smallest part of it exhibits the same chemical as well as physical properties. Here chemical as well as physical properties will be same throughout the bulk solution. If you go with any of the particles, it shows the same kind of physical as well as chemical properties. Example, if you say air, solution of sugar with water as well as alloys, which is a mixture of metals. Again, this homogeneous matter, it has been divided as mixture as well as pure substance. So now we'll see what is meant by mixture. So mixture, as I said, these are the like two components, it will be mixed together so that you are going to get a single phase, homogeneous, clear phase you are going to get over here. So those kind of substance you are going to call it as mixture. It is called as homogeneous mixture. So it also called as solution or true solution, or it is also called as crystalloid. So solution, when you will say, by that it should have two components. So solution will be done by the mixture of solute as well as solvent. So these two components are very important. It should have solute as well as solvent, then only the formation of solution will be done. So which the concentration will be less, that you are going to consider as solute, and which the concentration will be more, that will be considered as solvent. So when the mixture of solute as well as solvent, these two components will be done, by that time you are going to get solution. So which will consider under homogeneous mixture. So example, if you say a homogeneous mixture of sugar and water gives true solution. So when you mix sugar to water, by that time sugar you will be taking in little amount. Concentration will be less, so you are going to call it as solute, and water will be taken in large amount, so that will be considered as solvent. One more classification, that is pure substance. Pure substance is nothing but it is made up of only one type of particle will be there, either atoms or molecules it will be having. So here these classified, again this pure substance has been classified as elements as well as compounds. So now what is mean by element? Element is a simple form which you cannot divide it further. You will not be able to divide it further. So those kind of substance you are going to call it as elements. Now generally if you see in our surroundings, we had found 118 elements. In those elements, total 92 are naturally occurring and others are artificially prepared substances, prepared elements. So examples which comes as hydrogen, mercury, gold, iron, etc. Any of periodic table elements you will be able to take over here. So again, those elements has been divided as metal, non-metals as well as metalloid based on their properties. Now what are those properties? How they have been divided? So here metal. So metals are those substances or those elements to get stable or to get stability, it will be able to lose electron. So when it loses electron, by the atom it gets a charge. So that charge is nothing but positive charge. So we are going to consider this as cation. Okay. So metal will be able to lose electron. So when it loses electron, by that time it gets positive charge and it forms a cation. So metal is nothing but elements with the electropositive nature of losing one or more electron readily to give positively charged cations are called as metals. Example, copper, zinc, iron, all these are examples for metals. The next one, non-metals. So non-metals are nothing but here these elements, to get stability it will take electron. Either it gains one or more of electrons. So when it gains electron, by that time these elements will get negative charge. So when it gets negative charge, by then we are going to call it as an ion. So the electronegative elements, see these are electronegative elements which have tendency to gain. So it will gain electron as well as it will form a anion. Formation of an anion will takes place over here. So remember, whenever you are writing metal, whenever it loses electron, after the arrow mark you are supposed to write. When it gains electron, by the atom before the arrow you are supposed to write. So it indicates it gained electron and formation of anion will takes place. Example, it goes with chlorine, bromine, sulfur, etc. See, these are examples. Magnesium metal, how it looks, as well as sodium metal, how it looks. These are some pictures to show the metal. Now, metalloid, one more form of elements. Metal, non-metal as well as metalloid. These are three types of your elements. So now metalloids. What is meant by metalloids? Metalloids are nothing but these elements which have the property of metal as well as non-metal. So some of the property of metal also will be there as well as some of the property of non-metal also it will be having. So those kind of elements we are going to consider as metalloid. So elements possessing of both metal as well as non-metal properties are called as metalloids. Example, antimony, arsenic, germanium, all these are examples for metalloid. Next, one more type, that is nothing but compounds. So now compounds are nothing but here which is made up of two or more than two elements which will be having definite ratio. That is very important. It should have a definite ratio by mass. Then you are going to call it as compounds. Now what is this definite ratio by mass? Here is an example. See, example, in water the number of hydrogen and oxygen atoms are in the ratio of 2:1. So here number of atoms ratio if we will consider, that is 2:1. How it is? 2 atom of hydrogen combines with 1 atom of oxygen. So the ratio comes as 2:1. In the same way, if you go with the mass ratio, it comes as 1:8. How it comes as 1:8? Hydrogen has atomic mass as 1. Generally, we are going to take it as 1, though it is having 1.008. So it is having 1 as atomic mass as well as oxygen atomic mass is 60. So here 2 atoms of hydrogen is present. 2 into 1, 2. 2:16 it comes. Okay. So mass ratio will come as 2:16. So now when you go with the simplification, by that you of atoms ratio if I'll ask, you will be able to write hydrogen, how many atoms are present? 2. Sulfur 1, oxygen 4. So the atomic ratio, number of atoms ratio will come as 2:1:4. So this is atomic number of atoms ratio. If I go with the mass ratio, what is the atomic mass of hydrogen? That is 1. 1 into 2 is 2 because 2 atoms of hydrogen is present. Sulfur atomic comes as 32. Again, oxygen atomic mass will come as 16. 16 into 4 is 64. So it comes as 2:32:64. When you go for simplification, you will get it as 1:16:32. So this is your mass ratio. So it should have definite mass ratio, then only it can form as a compound. So total mass, if I consider, of sulfuric acid, it comes as 98 gram. If you add this mass, you will get it as 98 gram. So we will continue. We have learned regarding the classification based on physical state as well as chemical state. So now we will just go with some of the concentration term. How we are going to measure the concentration of solute which is present in the bulk solution, that we are going to learn. So before that, we have already learned regarding solution. I'll just glance with the concept. So now solution is nothing but which is a mixture of solute as well as solvent. So the concentration of solute will be less always. Concentration of solvent will be more. If I take the example, sugar is mixed with water or salt is mixed with water, sugar concentration will be less. So you are going to take it as solute, as well as water concentration will be more, and you are going to take it as solvent, so that you will get sugar solution. Solution will be formed. So the next concept is, as I said, concentration term you are going to learn. Concentration of the solution. So now what is mean by concentration of a solution? For 1 unit volume, you are going to measure how many amount of solute is present in a bulk solution. So that is nothing but concentration of the solution. So we'll just go through with it. The amount of solute present in a unit volume of a solution is called as concentration of the solution. So it will be expressed in terms of percentage by mass or by volume, molarity, molality, normality, mole fraction, ppm, parts per million. So all these are terms of concentration. Now you are going to learn regarding percentage by mass or by volume, molarity as well as normality. All the other concepts you will be learning in your higher classes. So first we will learn with percentage by mass. So under this concept, problems will be asked. So now percentage by mass is nothing but it is the mass of the solute which is present in 100 gram of the solution. So you are going to consider with the mass. So it should be considered, you are going to find out the mass of the solute. Okay, not solvent. Remember, solution is a mixture of solute as well as solvent. So here you are going to find the mass of the solute which is present in 100 gram of the solution. So the formula will come as mass of the solute in gram divided by mass of the solution in gram. You can identify here solvent concept is not there. Okay, so here mainly it comes as mass of the solute in the sense which is less in concentration, as well as divided by mass of the solution, that is a total mixture, the final mixture. Okay, so mass of the solution in grams, because you are finding percentage, multiply by 100. So next one, percentage by volume. Last slide you have learned percentage by mass. Here just you are learning in terms of volume, that's it. Same concept, it is the mass of the solute present in 100 cm cube of the solution. In terms of volume you are going to measure, that's it. There in terms of mass, that is 100 gram you have taken. In terms of mass you have taken. Here in terms of volume you are going the formula will come as mass of the solute in gram divided by volume of the solution in terms of volume, cm3. Only here you have to do the changes, that's it. Okay, all the concepts are same. Here you have to do the changes. There in terms of mass you are supposed to write, here in terms of volume you are supposed to write. And because you are finding percentage, it should be multiplied by 100. So we'll just go with the problem. For example, 50 gram of glucose is dissolved in 400 gram of water. Then calculate percentage by mass of the solute. Percentage by mass they are asking. So you are supposed to find percentage of mass. So what they have given? 50 gram of glucose, that is nothing but your solute, is dissolved in 400 gram of water, that is nothing but solvent. So solute mass they have given, solvent mass they have given. According to our formula, we need mass of the solute, which is already given. So that you substitute. How much it is? 50. So mass of the solution they did not give. Instead of that, they have given mass of the solvent, that is nothing but 400 gram. Solute and solvent they have given. You are supposed to find out with the solution. So what you are supposed to do? Addition. So add 50 plus 400. Solute plus solvent you add. Then you will get certain amount. So that is nothing but mass of your solution. Then substitute for your formula, multiply by 100 so that you will get with answer. Okay. So this is nothing but total 11.11% of mass is present. Next problem. In terms of volume, see 300 cm3 of the solution which contains 20 gram of NaCl, sodium chloride, dissolved with water. Then calculate with percentage by volume of the solution. So here also same thing. Okay, so here they have given solution. Solution volume they have given, that is 300 cm3 of solution, will be having solute concentration they have given, that is nothing but 20 gram of sodium chloride, that is nothing but solute is present, and you are going to find out the percentage by volume. Direct substitution to the formula so that you will get answer with 6.67%. So total percentage of NaCl is present in the solution is 6.67. Next concept, molarity. Now what is mean by molarity? Molarity is nothing but number of moles of the solute divided by volume of the solution in terms of dm cube or in terms of liter. Okay. So molarity mainly it goes with the volume. You have to see here it goes with R, molarity. If R comes here you are going to deal with volume. So here molarity will come as, either you can write in this form, number of gram molecular mass of the solute divided by volume of the solution in dm cube, or you can write it as number of moles of the solute divided by volume of the solution in dm cube, or you can write in terms of liter, volume of the solution in liter. So based on this, some problems also we will just see later. Okay. So formula you will be able to write in that form or in this form. So now sometime what they will do in problem, they won't give directly the number of moles of the solute, they will not give. Instead of that, they will give mass of the substance. So by using of that mass of the substance, you will be able to find with the molarity. Okay. So now how it will be done? What is mean by number of moles of the solute? This is nothing but mass by molar mass. So number of moles of solute is equal to mass by molar mass. Mass is nothing but whatever the weight that they have given. Mass has been given in problem. So that only you are supposed to substitute. Molar mass is nothing but the total molecular mass you are going to find it. For example, H2O. For example, they have given 2 gram of water. Okay, so 2 gram they have given, that is nothing but your mass. Okay, which is given in question. As well as molar mass is nothing but you are going to find out the molecular mass of water molecule. Hydrogen atomic mass is 1, which will be multiplied by 2. Why? Because hydrogen atoms are 2. Oxygen will be having atomic mass as 16. So 16 plus 2 total 18 it comes. So that is the molecular mass or molar mass of water. So in the same way, whichever the substance, whichever the molecules they have given, based on that molar mass you are supposed to find. If they did not give the number of moles of the solute directly, instead of this they have given mass in the sense, you are supposed to use this formula. So you are supposed to use this formula. So instead of number of moles, mass by molar mass divided by volume. Okay. If the question is given, you might have noticed there in denominator we have given as volume of the solution in terms of dm cube. If the question is given in terms of cm cube or milliliter, by that multiply by 1000. That's it. Okay. Why? Because you know 1 liter is nothing but 1000 milliliter. In the same way, 1 dm cube is nothing but 1000 cm cube. So based on that, multiply by 1000. So based on this concept, we'll just see with the problem. So now here, calculate the molarity of the solution obtained by dissolving 6 gram of oxalic acid in 200 cm cube of solution. So molar mass of oxalic acid is already given, that is 126. So what is given in the question? You are supposed to find out the molarity of the solution by dissolving 6 gram of oxalic acid, which is nothing but solute. Solute mass they have given. Okay. Notice that solute mass they have given as well as volume they have given in terms of cm cube. Okay. So which formula you are supposed to use? See, number of moles they did not give. They have given mass is there, molar mass is there, as well as volume you have in terms of cm cube. So you are supposed to use the formula, this one. So 1000 into m divided by capital M into V. So here 1000 into m. M is nothing but mass of the substance, that is 6 gram. Okay, divided by molar mass of oxalic acid is 126 gram. Volume is 200 in terms of cm cube they have given. In your formula it is there in terms of dm cube or in terms of liter you can write. If it is not there in those form, you will be able to convert it. You should convert it. Okay. So now it should be multiplied by 1000 so that you will get with answer, that is 0.238 capital M. Remember, molarity, the unit of molarity when you are representing, you are supposed to write with capital M. So this is the answer for molarity. Remember, molarity is different, molality is different. So when you go with higher classes, by then you will be learning with molarity, but you should be thorough with the molarity. Okay. So molarity is nothing but it goes with R, which goes with volume of the solution in terms of dm cube or in terms of liter. Next concept, the last concept, that is nothing but normality. Okay. So now what is meant by normality? Normality is nothing but number of gram equivalent mass of the solute divided by volume of the solution in terms of dm cube. Here also same thing, volume of the solution in terms of dm cube you are going to take, but here you will be taking number of gram equivalent mass of the solute you will be taking over here. So now equivalent mass is nothing but mass by equivalent weight of a substance. Okay. So equivalent weight of a substance, either it will be given or you are supposed to find it. What is the formula for E? That is nothing but equivalent weight, that is E is equal to molar mass by N. What is mean by molar mass? Molar mass is nothing but the molecular mass. Which molecule you are going to take? The mass of that molecule you are going to find. Okay. divided by N. N represents either charge, acidity or basicity of that molecule. Okay, so what is the acidity as well as basicity or the charge of the molecule? So it goes with that. So first you are supposed to find what is the value of E. After that, substitute over here and you will get to know what is the answer for this. Okay, so we will go with the problem. Calculate the normality of the solution containing 4 gram of sodium hydroxide, that is NaOH, in 500 cm cube of the solution. See here, equivalent mass of NaOH they have already given, that is 40. Okay, so now what they have given in question, you are supposed to find out the normality of the solution by giving 4 gram of sodium hydroxide, that is nothing but mass. Okay, mass of the solute they have given, as well as 500 cm cube, that is nothing but volume of the solution they have given. In terms of cm cube they have given, so it should be multiplied by 1000 because formula is there in terms of dm cube. Okay, to convert 1 dm cube is nothing but 1000 cm cube, so it should be multiplied by 1000. So substitute over here, 1000 into mass is nothing but 4 gram of solute divided by equivalent weight is 40 into volume is 500 cm cube. So substitute, so the answer will be 0.2 N. So remember, normality you are going to measure in terms of capital M. Okay, so whenever you are find normality answer, you are supposed to write with capital N. So then only you are going to get full marks. So this is the end of the slide. So here in this chapter we have learned regarding the concept of matter with examples based on physical state as well as chemical state classification. We have done physical state in the sense that is solid, liquid, gas as well as plasma. 4 phases are present in our nature. Based on chemical state, if you will go, again we have divided as homogeneous mixture as well as heterogeneous mixture. So homo in the sense same proportion of elements will be there, same proportion of components will be there throughout the bulk solution. Hetero in the sense it goes with the varying. So now there different proportion of components will be there throughout the bulk solution. So if you will go with the types of heterogeneous substance, there it is having 3 types. The one is suspension and one is colloid and one is mixture. Okay, hetero mixture. So if you will go with the colloid will range from 1 nanometer to 100 nanometer, which looks like clear solution, which looks like homogeneous, but it is not. It is a heterogeneous solution. Example, milk, blood and all. Okay, the next one is suspension. Suspension in the sense when you will go with the substance, so when you will go with the solution, some of the particles will not get dissolved in the solvent. So here solute particles, some of the solute particle will remain suspended. So those particles you are going to consider as suspension. Okay, the next one we will go with, we have done with your hetero mixture. So hetero mixtures are nothing but 2 or more mixtures will be there. You can mix with any kind of ratio. So in mixture form it will show some of the properties. Those are nothing but hetero substances. Now next type is homogeneous substances. Homogeneous substances we have divided as pure substance as well as mixture. Mixtures are nothing but you will be mixing with the substance. 2 components will be mixed, that is nothing but solute as well as solvent will be mixed with one another so that you will get solution, but it should have definite ratio. Okay, as compound says, so mixture also will be having definite ratio. The next one is pure substance, where it is there with the pure form, atoms or elements form. Okay, atoms or elements when it combines with one another, by that time you are going to get your pure form. So pure form again we have divided it as elements as well as compounds, and elements classification we have done as metal, metalloid as well as non-metals, and the compounds are nothing but there again 2 or more components will be there with the definite ratio. So after that we have done with this concentration term, molarity we have done as well as normality we have done. So based on the formula problem will be asked. Thank you.